This is a quick tip from Drowning in Yarn. I'm Caleb, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to do the Kitchener stitch. I use the Kitchener stitch to graft the toe of this stocking closed. It creates a join that is almost seamless. You're going to want a long tail. I usually really roughly estimate about 3 times the circumference of the fabric I want to close up, plus a little bit extra just to be safe. Then you'll just want to cut that and grab a tapestry needle. You're going to put your stitches close to the tips of your needles. The needle closest to you is going to be your front needle. The one furthest from you is your back needle, and your yarn should be coming from the last stitch on the back needle and between the 2 needles. So the first step, you're going to go purlwise into the first stitch on your front needle. Then you're going to pull that yarn and go knitwise into the first stitch on your back needle. These are just the 2 setup stitches. You're going to leave both of those stitches on your needle. Now you're going to go and do step 2. I like to think of the steps as 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. 2A is to go knitwise into the first stitch on the first needle, the front needle, slip it off, and then go purlwise into the second stitch. That's one motion. And then you'll pull that yarn snug. I give it a little tug, and that's it. Step 3A is purlwise into the first stitch on the back needle, and then knitwise into the second stitch, leaving the second stitch on the needle. If you're not following, don't worry, we're gonna repeat this process. Again, the yarn goes under the needles. Sometimes it gets a little close to the edge, so I'll kind of push the stitches back. It will look a little bit messy at first, so just mess with the fabric, get it looking good, give a little tug on the yarn, and then you're good to go to repeat steps 2A, 2B, and 3A and 3B. Again, 2A, and I consider it 2A and 2B because it's one motion. Knitwise into the first stitch on the front needle, slip it off, just rotate your needle and go purlwise into the second stitch. And then pull your yarn through, making sure the yarn goes under both of your needles. You want it to go under because if you go over the needles, it's gonna create kind of a yarn over, and it's just not a situation you want to deal with, so make sure it goes under. Then 3A, you go purlwise into the first stitch on the back needle, slip it off, rotate your needle, and go knitwise into the second stitch on the back needle. And then you pull your yarn through, making sure your yarn goes under both of your needles. Give it a little tug. You want to be careful about your tension. I find if I just give it a nice tug, that's all I need to do, and then I don't have to worry about the tension. So you repeat that, and then now I'm on the last 4 stitches. So same thing, knitwise into the first stitch on the front needle, off the needle, and then purlwise into the second stitch on the front needle. Then pull the yarn, give it a little tug. Then purlwise into the first stitch on the back needle, slip it off your needle, and then knitwise into the second stitch on the back needle. So that process has been the same all the way across the row. Now it's pretty much exactly the same, but you're just doing 2A and 3A really because you don't have a second stitch on your needles. So you go knitwise into the first stitch, the only stitch on your front needle, and slip it off. And purlwise into the first stitch on your back needle, which is your only stitch, and you'll slip that off as well. But you can go ahead and pull your yarn all the way through, slip it off, and that's it. As you can see, it creates a seamless join there, a seamless graft. I like to feed the yarn through on just the other side of that last loop. You'll always have this kind of loop there for that last stitch, but if you feed it on the other side so that your loop kind of goes around that last stitch. When you pull the yarn into the inside of the sock, or in this case the stocking, it will pull that last loop in for you, as you can see here, and then it won't really be a problem. I like to give it a nice tug. Then I'm going to turn my stocking inside out, and you can just go ahead and weave in your yarn on the inside. I won't demonstrate that here, but just so you know, that's how I usually take care of it. And that's all there is to it. If you need to watch this video again, don't feel bad. It took me forever to learn the Kitchener stitch, but it's not so bad once you get the hang of it.